Today I'll be reading this lovely book called A Handful of Buttons. It's a lot like Todd Parr's family book, in that there's just different types of families, but I thought this was a really unique and sweet way to get that concept across with the buttons. And it talks about divorced families, single parent households, houses with 2 moms and 2 dads, pets, no pets, and then I really enjoy that at the end it has this page for draw your family inside this house. And so an activity that I would do with my preschool would be to give them all a piece of paper, either blank or with a house drawn on it, and a pile of buttons, and have them build their own families. The valuable part of that activity isn't necessarily the art, but the conversations that come with it. Let's talk about your family and how your family is different than my family, and how my family was different than your family, and the different types of family there are out there in the world. They're building this sense of openness and inclusiveness, and that idea that a family is a family, and that comes from love and working together, and not from a certain recipe or type to fit into. And I think that that's the real value that comes with this type of book and activity for the children, even if it's missing, it doesn't have polygamy in there, and there might be other things that I'm not even aware of culturally that could have been in this book but aren't, but I still think it's valuable to just talk about how we're all different. And so I would highly recommend A Handful of Buttons by Carmen, Parets, Luque, and I look forward to your responses. Thank you.
A Handful of Buttons by Carmen, Parets, Luque. Not all families are the same. Each family is different, unique, and special. There are as many as a handful of buttons. Some families are big. There are brothers and sisters, and sometimes grandparents, uncles, and cousins living in the same house. Some families are small. They only have a boy or a girl. Some families are of the same color. Some families have different colors. Some families have a mom and a dad who love them. Some families have a mom and a dad who love them, but they live in separate houses. Children spend time, sometimes at mom's house with their new family, and sometimes at dad's house with their new family. Some families have a mom who loves them. Some families have a dad who loves them. Some families are capable of traveling the world by bicycle to form a family with a child who is alone. Some families have 2 moms who love them. Some families have 2 dads who love them. Some families have 1 or more animals in the family. But do you know what makes them a family? Each family is united by an invisible thread, a thread that is connected to each person's heart and makes them love, care, and help their family. The end.